everyone, and welcome back to Classic Gamer 74. I'm your host, Anthony Gamer, and by request by one of my #1 fans, followers, and I'd have to say friends, we're going to be starting our new unit on a game system, and that game system is the GCE Vectrex. The Vectrex itself is a very underrated game system, but is very unique in the fact that it was the only game system to use the vector graphics. Now, of course, we're all familiar with vector graphics, as who here watching my videos is not a fan of Tempest, and we know Matt really is a big fan of the game, obviously, and most of us ourselves really enjoy it. I would say about 90% of the people, or probably 95 of the people that watch this video, love Tempest. Whether we're any good at it or not is a totally different story. Anyway, other game systems were not able to copy those vector graphics, although much later on some homebrew programmers themselves tried. Another big selling point for the Vectrex was the fact that it didn't need to be hooked up to the television. It came with its own monitor. And because the monitor itself was a little bit limited with the vector graphics, each of the games had a special overlay that you would put over the screen to kind of help with it a little bit. But honestly, a lot of the games didn't need it. Unfortunately, the Vectrex was not a big success. Unfortunately, it was a victim of the video game crash of '83, and by '84 it was gone. In that time period that it was around, it had 28 games, and since then there have been some really cool homebrews. But we'll talk about the homebrews next month, as the month of March is going to be dedicated to just some of the homebrews that are out there for various vintage game systems. But for now, let's look at some of the cool games that were made for the Vectrex. So, without further ado, let's get into those games. Now, as an added bonus feature, I'm going to do the segment that is the most popular according to the poll that I took on this channel, and that is the rare and valuable games. So we're going to look at some of the rare and valuable games for the Vectrex, and the number one game is, whew, wow. Anyway, but that game itself stands out, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So what we're going to do is look at games that have a price tag of $50 starting, a $50 price tag for just a loose cart. So without further ado, let's get started.
And our first game is Art Master. Now, I can't show you actual footage of it for some reason it won't work on the emulator, so I'll just show you the box and discuss it a little. Art Master is a high-performance, state-of-the-art experience that takes you into a world of art exploration you've never seen before. Finally, sketching comes of age, and your creativity comes to life. This is one of the games that you use the light pen for. Now, this game itself will cost you just a little bit of money. If you are interested in picking it up for your own Vectrex, it'll run you right around $58. Now, there were a couple arcade ports that were ported to this game system, and one of those was Atari's Pole Position. And I think they did a dynamite job of it. If you look, the way the vector graphics just are beautiful. I mean, you got the background, you got the realistic sound, everything that you would expect from Pole Position. The controls are a little bit wonky, but also I'm just not very good at the game. So anyway, if you'd like to add this to your collection, expect to spend right around $63. And next up we have Star Castle, another arcade game that I'm also not that good at. In this game, you're trying to blast your way through a barrier to get to this evil warlord that's at the middle. Of course, he's shooting back at you, and he has other guys coming out to protect you. Pretty cool game, actually. I just wish I was better at it. In recent years, it also has been ported out via homebrews for other game systems. If you'd like to add this to your collection, expect to spend right around $78. Alright, and next up we have Melody Maker. I can't get this one to do much either. This is another one of those light pen games. It's got different ways to make music, learn to read music, and cool stuff like that. This game will run you a little bit. If you'd like to add this to your collection, expect to spend right around $88. Alright, next up we have one of the 3D games that was made for the Vectrex. You actually had to put on these 3D glasses, and it gave you the 3D effect for certain games, and one of those was this one, 3D Mindstorm. Unfortunately, this one doesn't work too well in emulation. I apologize. If you'd like to add this to your collection, expect to spend right around $107. But again, don't forget that you do have to purchase those 3D graphics, the 3D glasses separately. And yet we have another game that doesn't work in emulation. This is 3D Crazy Coaster. It looks pretty cool from what I've seen of it. I think that the 3D games themselves are pretty collectible because I don't believe the whole 3D add-on was a rip-roaring success, so the games themselves are a little on the hard-to-find side. If you'd like to get this game, expect to spend right around $161. Okay, and yet another one. We have the 3D Narrow Escape, and it says right on the box, this cartridge for use with the Vectrex 3D Imager only, so that's probably why it won't work in emulation. Anyway, this one is going up a little bit more since the last one. If you'd like to add this to your collection, it is currently priced at right around $200. And now we have a game that I simply cannot get the ROM for. I spoke to the programmer, but they basically did not return my messages. This is Stramesh Zone, a homebrew, obviously. This came out in 2018. It was published by Clockwork Robot. If you'd like to get a hold of this game, it's going to cost you quite a bit. It is currently priced at right at $500. Okay, and next up we have a game I can show you, and that is Mindstorm 2. Alright, now the story behind this game is quite interesting. One of the built-in versions of Mindstorm had a glitch that made the game crash at level 13. So GCE decided to send a copy of Mindstorm 2 to gamers that wrote to the company and complained. This game is rare because most of the gamers didn't know about the offer, and also because not many gamers got to level 13, myself included. If you would like to add this game to your collection, and if you can find it, it currently will cost you right around $763. And now we come to the second most valuable game, and that is V Frogger. This was made in 1998 by a developer named Malban, published by Classic Game Creations. No relation. I guess they figured that since there wasn't a Frogger game for the Vectrex, they would make one. This game is quite collectible. If you can find it loose, it will run you right around $1,300.
Now, if you know anything about the Vectrex, the number one most valuable game should not be any surprise to you, and that is the Mr. Boston game. Okay, now this would be the very first game in history to have an advertisement built right into the game. Of course, there have been games with product placement later on, and games that were made games that were made just for advertising. We've had a couple episodes on that, and we've got some coming up later. But this was the very first time it was done, and not only was it done for a company, but it was done for a liquor store. Yep. So let's check out the Mr. Boston game, which is the number one most valuable game for the Vectrex.
Yep, as you can see, it is actually clean sweep. They've just added in that little advertisement at the beginning. And that little advertisement has made this game quite valuable. It even got a special box, which I'll display right here on the screen. If you are able to actually get a hold of this game, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. Just a little bit. A loose cart alone will run you right around $7,000. If you are able to get it complete in the box, it's $15,000. And if you can get it brand new, never been opened, it will run you right around $32,000. In our next episode, we're going to begin our month-long celebration looking at some of the best homebrews for multiple game systems.
Well, that brings this episode of Classic Gamer 74 to a close. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click that little bell icon down there at the bottom so you'll be notified when I upload new stuff for Classic Gamer 74 and for Magic Gamer 74. And please check out our Patreon. We got some great stuff on Patreon. Some episodes you're not going to find anywhere else. They were a little too hot for YouTube. So be generous and help us out on Patreon. It doesn't matter what level of patron you are, you will always get access to the same goodies. So please help us out. Well, until next time, I'm Anthony Gamer, and I wish you all a great week. Until next time, be strong, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and above all, take care of each other, be kind to each other, and stop hate of all kinds. See you soon. Bye.